Good morning and good evening, everybody. This is 60 Feet 6 Inches. I'm your host, WHIT. Here we're just running through all through the season. Season's over with, postseason's over with, and now we're just jumping right into it. And we're getting close to the World Series just within a day now. So this episode, this is episode 7. Welcome to the show, everybody. We're going to be talking a little bit of a recap, something that hits a little bit closer to home. We're going to be talking Atlanta Braves baseball through the. We're going to go over a couple of things through the season, talk about a couple midseason additions, midseason call-ups, how the team progressed, and then came to a 100-win season, which is the first time we've seen that since in the mid 2000s when the Braves were on a run then. So you have the Houston Astros and the Philadelphia Phillies that will be the two teams facing off in the 2022 World Series. Now, in the Fall Classic, these two teams, the Astros, team that were there in the World Series in 2021, and then the Phillies, just surging along, just busting through the postseason. And it seems like that it didn't matter who got in their way, whether it's losing one game here or another game there, they still managed to pull it out. And even in the NLDS, there were a lot of Braves fans that were just drawn back by how quick or maybe how locked in that the Philadelphia Phillies were. So if we take a step back and we look at the season of the Atlanta Braves 2022, there is so much to be impressed about. These guys worked through 162 games, won 101 games. Which here at the studio, I actually talked to a commission and was telling the Braves are going to win over 100 games. He said, no shot. So we go to game 1 in the NLDS. Everybody knows that Michael Harris, Spencer Strider have been key additions to this team. Great additions for offense, and also Spencer Strider just doing his thing whenever he gets on the bump. I think he's got some of that kind of mustache power or something like that, but Game 1, you got Max. You're feeling confident, and Max is coming off a start previously where he wasn't feeling well, maybe a little sick, maybe a little bug flu or stomach flu or something like that. But, he goes out there, gives up a couple runs right away. And even Atlanta Braves fans know that this is unusual. But, it's a 5-game series. Nobody's panicking. Game 1 just went ahead and just got away from the Braves automatically. There was rarely in the offense Darno and Olsen doing what they do. Actually, Darno, Olsen, and Acuna, it seems like were actually the only ones that were hitting during that series. So we move on to Game 2. You got Kyle Wright, which Kyle Wright does his thing. We end up tying up the series 1-1. You got Spencer Strider coming in for Game 3. Spencer Strider coming off an injury, a little bit of a short rest, but, he seems like the team and the organization feels like he's ready enough to go back out there. Obviously, he's going to let the front office know and the training staff if he's not okay to go, he's just going to go out there if he feels good. Well, obviously, management trusts that, and the front office does trust him, so they're going to send him on out there. We want to make sure we win this game. It's Game 3. Want to make sure we clinch it, so if we go home, we go ahead and do this. So get out there, Game 3. The Philadelphia Phillies must have eaten straight-up fastballs for breakfast because they were not fazed by Spencer Strider. Now, keep in mind, Spencer was a lot down as far as his miles per hour and his fastball. We're talking, maybe even close to, 7 or 8 miles an hour. There was a home run that Rhys Hoskins hit that everybody knows what I'm talking about, the emotional slamming of the bat down where it seems like he was Paul Bunyan trying to drive that thing directly into the dirt. But that pitch that Rhys Hoskins hit was only 93. So that right there is just a silver platter. Come and hit me and take me 450 feet. That's pretty much an open invitation. And then after that, the game really just got away. Game 4 happens. We're kind of staying there by a prayer, and Atlanta Braves fans are hoping that this is not something that's going to send them home early, especially without even, having a couple games in Atlanta to where they can feel like that they've got this taken care of. Well, it's so funny how history seems to repeat itself and then come full circle. Well, Charlie Morton is pitching. Charlie Morton takes a line drive off the elbow, something that we saw like a flashback, and I'm sure a lot of Atlanta Braves fans took a deep breath at the same time whenever that happened, or maybe even held their breath. But ball hits off of Charlie, ricochets. Charlie stays in for a little bit and then comes out. And then bullpen gives up another home run. And then before you know it, Bryce Harper's hitting another home run. And then before that, everybody knows what I'm about to tread upon. JT Realmuto, and I'm not sure how many inside the park home runs that this gentleman has, but he's not a slouch. He's a great hitter, great catcher, probably the best catcher in baseball. He hit a ball that is going to left center, and everybody that watched that game is replaying it in their minds, and I apologize for bringing up this this bad dream. Ball is hitting a little bit left center. There is a at Citizens Bank. There is a wall that is almost like a triangle where it comes to the point where you have, if it hits on the left side, it's going to literally ricochet to the left fielder. If it hits on the right side of the wall, the right fielder is going to be more likely to come and get it. There's a ball that JT Realmuto hits. It's in left center. It's a pretty well hit ball. Bounces off the right side. Michael Harris, does the best that he can to try to get to it. The ball starts rolling, and as it's rolling, even past his feet, it's going over towards right field. Well, it seems like that Ronald Acuna Jr. may have had a stomach ache or something like that. Maybe he had some kind of I don't know, maybe he just got frozen. Maybe his legs weren't working. Now, I'm not saying that he needs to rush over to him like Michael Harris is bleeding and life depends on it. No, I'm not saying that. But Ronald Acuna Jr. needs to move his feet somewhere. He needs to be backing up his teammate. He needs to be backing up the ball just in case if for some reason the ball is hit in the corner and the ball ricochets off in right field, and God forbid that it is out of Michael Harris's reach. Well, as the ball is rolling down, Ronald Acuna Jr. maybe takes a couple of steps towards and then maybe starts to jog a little bit towards the ball. But by then, Michael Harris has already gotten the ball and thrown it in. Michael Harris should not have been the one running that, getting that ball and throwing it in. That ball should have not have been Michael Harris's by the time that ball hit off the wall. Once the ball hit off the wall, the other teammates in the field need to try to take charge, only because, one, the game is getting out of hand. If you have any chance of saving this game, you have to do anything that you can possible, which means play stellar defense and pay attention and notice some things may come up and happen that are not expected. It's the game of baseball. Certain things happen. So God forbid, if you're not prepared, certain things do happen, and all of a sudden you got an inside the park home run. Now, right there, Braves fans, you're right there with me. That inside the Parker right there was the last nail on the coffin in that series. Everybody knows it. Everybody that was watching that game knows that the moment that JT Realmuto hit that inside the park home run, that series was over. Now, keep in mind, big guys that usually do hit didn't hit at all. Acuna was there. Matt Olson showed up, and Travis d'Arnaud, as he always does, showed up and showed his leadership. That's why d'Arnaud is so important. He has a consistent mindset of leadership, knowing what his job is and knowing what he needs to do. So the Braves are sent home early. I mean, obviously, Braves fans, this doesn't hurt as bad. It doesn't. It doesn't hurt as bad because we won a World Series last year. So the pain is not as bad. Admit it. The pain is not as bad. Still hurts because we won 101 games, and I'm sure a lot of people wanted to see Spencer Strider dominate through the postseason and the World Series, and I'm sure everybody wanted to see Michael Harris show off, this newly acquired talent that we've got in our organization that we have built up and nurtured this kid and told him that, hey, you are what we want in our future. You go out there and you do exactly what you need to do. No barriers. Go play for us. Be that center fielder that we know you can be, and help us, keep it down in defensive level in the outfield. Now, other than that, nobody did anything. I mean, there's a lot of upsets. Even everybody that was talking about Matt Olson at the beginning of the season. Oh, Matt Olson is this, Matt Olson is that. Let me tell you something. The Dodgers didn't do anything either, and they won 111 games. They didn't go anything. They got beat by the Padres. So if there's any comparison with Freddie Freeman and Matt Olson, I mean, obviously Freddie Freeman hit great this year, did exactly what we all know he can do. But there was something different about Matt Olson, especially during the NLDS, where he was hidden. He was finding it. And that's something that can be very encouraging for next year. Everybody, especially whenever we get to spring training. There's a couple of free agents that are going to be on the team that we're going to talk about during the off season of where they're going to land. We all know. And Lieutenant Dan's, where's he going to go? And you have a couple of additions that could possibly even boost the team even more. I mean, we have the pieces. We need a couple bullpen arms, maybe go out there and get a frontline starter that's going to opt out. I will say he possibly played for the Mets, so there's a possibility. But all in all, you got to try to keep Dansby. You got to keep that leader on the team, because everybody, even Charlie Morton, after the NLDS was talking about how much of a leader Dansby was, and you take pride in that in your hometown team. That's why this organization is very different. And this is a biased take. We know that this is a biased take, but everybody knows that the Atlanta Braves organization has always done things very differently. Always done it seems like the right way. So whenever you bring in the right talent, the right personalities, Alex Anthopoulos, the front office, pretty much the only guy that's pretty much answering to nobody except for Terry McGurk. Whenever Alex Anthopoulos makes these moves, he keeps it in mind that there's a personality and there's a standard that needs to be held in the locker room to help these players be successful and be around a lot of people that are like-minded, help them win together, and help them play as a team. So whenever you have people like Dansby Swanson going on free agency, you want to make sure you can lock him down, because this was an exciting year, and we want to make sure we continue the winning tradition. I think that's not too much to ask for. What do you think, Braves fans? Not too much to ask for, right? So you have a lot to be thankful and a lot to be happy about with this year and this season in 2022 with the Atlanta Braves. It didn't end the way that we wanted to, obviously, but we got there. We won the division. That's a good thing. We got past the Mets, and that's what it seems like that's what the Braves were getting to a point to where they were getting past. Maybe just getting past the Mets was something to where they needed to get through, and it seemed like they were tired. Maybe it was that 5-day rest. I think that this new playoff format, it seems like that it doesn't do anything for your advantage if you win the division. So maybe there needs to be a little bit of tweaking on that end as well. Next year is going to be a little bit different. No shift. It's going to be a pitch clock. Different kinds of changes to the game that may or may not be necessary. But, you guys all know about my stance upon Rob Manfred. I'm sure he's a very lovely gentleman. But as far as his business aspects as the game of baseball, I am very much on the other side of how he feels about how the game is. But this is what this show is about. I mean, we can rant about that because we are baseball lovers. We all love the game regardless. So we help, want to try to help keep preserving the game as much as possible and keeping it to where the content is and the game itself is pure, to where it can just play out the way that it is. And that's the beauty of it. So when we're here talking about all kinds of things, we may be lean one side or the other, but either way, we all love baseball. We all love this game, and even during the off season, we always stare out our window and and hope for baseball season to come as fast as possible. So with that being said, this was just my treat to Braves fans. I wanted to rant with you guys at the same time, maybe give you a little bit of clarity on, how this team was. I mean, this team was great. 101 wins. You can't argue that. The talent was there. The certain teams get hot at the right time. 2021 Atlanta Braves were the exact same story. So look out for this offseason. We're going to be doing some great things here at the show, here at the studio. We're going to be doing some fun things during the offseason, talking about all kinds of baseball related as far as movies or activities or locations, maybe a couple stadiums that you wish you would like to see, or maybe that you have seen, or maybe some baseball memorabilia that you haven't actually shared with anyone. We're going to be doing all that this offseason, so stay tuned. We're looking forward to the World Series, and we're going to be giving you as much coverage as possible. But like we are here, like I said, at 60 feet 6 inches, we are also fans of the game, so we will be watching. And we will be not bothering anybody, making sure they can enjoy the World Series as fans as well. Good baseball that's going to be happening. So we look forward to it. Once again, everybody, this is my gift to you, Atlanta Braves fans. Thanks so much for taking the time to join me here at 60 feet 6 inches. And this episode is actually brought to you by Try Vitamins. Try Vitamins, eat like the warrior that you are meant to be. TryVitamins.com have great products as far as bison liver, bison heart, heart complex, vitamins A, B, and so much heme iron that you'll never find it in any other kind of meat on the planet. Try Vitamins, TryVitamins.com. Well, that's going to do it for all of us here at 60 feet 6 inches. Keep your grass green and your pants dirty. Good evening, everybody.